Good morning. Once again, we are at Le Mans on the 1st of July, Saturday morning, and I have with me Jean-Luc Serreau, who's an old friend for different reasons, various, but of course, car connection, and the fact that he used to be with BMW in a very important post for which we had a lot of interaction. And then, of course, more importantly, he is a historic vehicle nut, as you can make out by the fact that we are standing in front of one of his cars. He'll tell us more about that. That's the Austin Healey that he has, one amongst two, and the Lancia Fulvia coupe that he has. So we'll talk a bit about his cars and about the historic vehicle movement and your involvement with your club, which is a member of the French Federation, and that of FIVA. So Jean-Luc, can you just tell us a bit about what the hell, why did you get into all this? What made you like all these old cars?
Well, it's passion for life, I would say, because I started very young with, let's say, cars that were in those days more, let's say, second-hand cars. Yeah, like let's say Citroën SM or this kind of vehicles that for a young boy were a little bit, let's say, difficult to keep in hands. But afterwards, going step by step into this passion, I discovered the Austin Healey. That was really a dream car for me, and I went to different let's say opportunities to get one in my hands, and finally I found one which was coming back from the States, which was in a kind of not barn condition but not far, and I started not only to restore the car but afterwards to drive it on a daily basis. And now I'm very happy to have this car for almost 20 years, and it just brings me only pleasure.
So this is not the only Austin Healey that you have. You have another one, and you also have a Lancia Fulvia coupe, and some more. Is it? But tell us more about your other cars.
Yeah. So in fact, this car is the, let's say, the most, let's say, recent, between brackets, car in the family of Austin Healey. And for me, this was the Omega
Ultimate.
exactly, ultimate Omega. And I said, okay, now I need to go to the roots and to the original Roadster that was, let's say, coming before this car on the market. And of course, the, let's say, Graal for me was an 100 4-cylinder, which was even with the M badge that bring a little bit more power and pleasure at the wheel. So I was looking, because the BN2, this is the code name of the car, was not so easy to find because of the, let's say, very few numbers produced at the end of the 55 and the early 56 years, and I found one which was even in a much more barn condition than was my Healey 3000 when I found it. And then I started a restoration program that took me 8 to 9 years before the car was completely restored. I'm not here today with this car because unfortunately I can't drive both cars at the same time, but the car was here yesterday and made for the first time the parade of the, let's say, collectors or classic cars on the circuit. And for me it was great because this is an Healey 100 for the 100 years of the circuit, and let's say 70 years of the brand. Everything was, let's say, matching perfect for this car to be yesterday on the circuit, and for my own, let's say, pleasure, it was absolutely, let's say, a must that the 100 was back on the road. Voilà. So there are other cars, yeah. Well, mainly Fulvias, is to say that I'm not, let's say, only and exclusively, let's say, in love with Austin Healey's. I also like Italians. I had in the past also a Fiat 124 Coupe. That was also in those days a great car for young people. And the Fulvia is more for my wife, because this is a car which is more, let's say, female, let's say, feminine aspects, or let's say particularities. And we also like to drive this car together and go for rallies and other activities that this car brings. But this car is really, let's say, concentration of technology. In the 70s, this was a V4 engine with 4, let's say, disc brakes, etc. And the technology in this car is really great. Voila.
You are a member of the Austin Healey Club. In fact, you are the president,
Yes.
and your wife actually is the secretary general of
Correct.
the Austin Healey Club. And the Austin Healey Club is a member of the French Federation, FIVE, which is a member of FIVA. What do you understand or see is the role of FIVA in saving the historic vehicle movement around the world?
For us, it's very important because there are so many threats around that, let's say, try to, let's say, condemn these vehicles and to, let's say, block the engines or everything because of the CO2, let's say, concern, which is serious. Nobody says the contrary, denies it, and we need to be absolutely conscious. But all these cars, if we would not have these, we would not have the modern cars that are offering today the possibility to come to a next generation. And in my eyes, okay, it's a question of, let's say, vision, but we should try to make it, let's say, live together in good harmony. Let's say the cars that makes the let's say freedom of people in the life, and the modern cars which are driven by the let's say climatic conditions and requirements. Voila.
Thank you very much. I think that completes it. Would you like to sing a song like "I'm a Venus" as part of the conclusion? No, you don't want to sing
sorry,
that.
I'm not a
No,
good
you're not a
singer.
singer for that. Thank you. Thanks so much.
But come on, we will make a band one
We'll
time.
make a band of this.